Namaskar. Welcome to this session. We are considering the Pratyahara, the fifth limb of Ashtanga Yoga, which follows Pranayama. And the Pranayama gives a kind of Pratyahara, unique kind of Pratyahara, which is most suited for yoga. I will be telling you about different kinds of pratyaharas which are mentioned while we proceed in pratyahara, and this kind of pratyahara which ensues from pranayama is the one which opens out the gateway for dharana, dhyan, samadhi. So we came to a point that the Indriyas, Jnanendriyas, Karmendiyas, Indriyas, Indriyas have been analysed in Yoga Shastra, in Yoga philosophy, and nowhere this study is to be found. So Patanjali tells us about 5 forms of senses, Indriyas. And before going to that, let me tell you that the Jnanendriyas have great influence on all the other Indriyas of the body. And that is why Pratyahara is more mentioned with regards to sensory organs, Jnanendriyas, because Jnanendriyas have such a tremendous impact on the entire system of Indriyas, be those Karmendiyas, Indriyas, Indriyas, and therefore it is not wrong to hold that Pratyahara is primarily to Jnanendriyas. Pratyahara has reference to Jnanendriyas because the Jnanendriyas are the cognitive organs, and cognitive organs have great influence on entire human system. They are very powerful, indeed powerful body of organs which are called cognitive organs, which are called Jnanendriyas, comprising of visual organ, auditory organ, olfactory organ, gustatory organ, tactile organ. Because they can influence the mind and they can influence the entire physiology. They can influence the entire psychology. And therefore these Indriyas have great access to mind, psyche and consciousness. And therefore Pratyahara is usually referred to a process with reference to Jnanendriyas, and it is not absolutely wrong, but as students of yoga in formal education we must understand Indriyas are not only cognitive Indriyas. Indriyas are Jnanendriyas, Karmendiyas, Indriyas, Indriyas, Indriyas and Indriyas. Anyway, the popular view that Pratyahara is with respect to 5 Jnanendriyas which perceive Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Vishayas is also to be accepted, and it is because they are very powerful to influence the entire physiology of human being and psychology of human being. So that should be understood how Jnanendriyas are Bhogendriyas. Karmendriyas are out and out Bhogendriyas, but Jnanendriyas are Bhogendriyas as well as Jnanendriyas. The Bhogendriyas can transmute because of influence of Jnanendriyas and Manasendriyas. So sometimes this study has to be made with regards to Jnanendriyas, salient features, Karmendriyas, salient features, Manasendriyas, salient features, and Sharirendriyas, salient features. We should characterize all these Indriyas of various systems. Anyway, the point is, now we are going to understand that all these Indriyas, not only Jnanendriyas, but all the Indriyas have 5 forms according to Patanjali. And he brings a sutra to this effect in the 3rd chapter. Grahana Swarupa Asmita Anvaya Arthavatva Samyamat. He says about a Siddhi, mentions a Siddhi. So there he expressly mentions the 5 forms of the senses. And now we are going to commence our inquiry into it. So the intuitively realized yogis, Samadhi Siddha yogis, have spoken about the 5 forms. They have revealed the 5 forms of all the Indriyas. Sharendriyas primarily and all the Indriyas generally. And let me tell you that the study of anatomy physiology will never have slightest clue to these 5 forms. So what are these 5 forms? The first one is Grahana. The Grahana is functional form of the Indriyas. What are the functional forms of your eyes? Visual perception. What are the functional forms of your auditors' ears? Auditory organ is the audition. The tongue, the gustation. The skin, the tactile perception. And the nose, olfactory function, olfactory perception. So they have certain functions. They are employed for certain functions. So also the Karmendiyas are appointed for certain functions and they carry out their functions. Vak, Pani, Pada, Payo, Upastha. So they have their own functions. Vagendriya is for speech. It carries out the function of speech. Pani are the prehensory organs. They carry out the functions of give and take. And all our activities that we carry out through the hands, through the arms. So they have appointed functions, and that is why we use them for those purpose. So if you want to understand what are these Kriya Rupa aspects of Indriyas, just try to understand what function do they carry. Primarily, generally, more often, most often. So if you try to identify their functions in our worldly realm, in business activity of life, as to what the eyes do, they see. What the ears do, they hear. What the nose as olfactory organ would do is olfactory act of smell perception. The tongue, the taste perception, etc. So also all the organs have their functions. This is true to even Karmendriyas. Karmendriyas have certain major functions. That's why they are given the names such as locomotive organ, generative organ, speech organ, prehensory organ, and excretory organ. So that is their primary function. Now, let me bring to your notice here. You know that excretory organs have function of excretion. But you will notice in asana they have unique functions. Apart from excretion, we never do the excretion in asanas. While we are in asanas, then what function do they have? They have some other functions. Otherwise, common man is only aware of the functions which are with reference to worldly life, practicality of life, worldly life. And that's why they have been given the tag visual organ, auditory organ, gustatory organ, tactile organ, locomotive organ, prehensory organ, vocal organ, oral organ, speech organ, generative organ, and excretory organ. So they have certain functions, and their appointment is primarily for that function, and therefore we give the tag. So also about your manasendriyas, we have mental organ, intellectual organ, emotional organ, memory organ, sensitivity organ, perceptive organ, perception and cognition, memory, intelligence. So many functions are there, and then that is how we understand the internal organs of mind. And that's why generally they are classed as mental organ, means mental organ, intellectual organ, emotional organ, sentimental organ, identity organ. So they are tagged with certain functions. That's the case of mental organs. So also is the case of Indriyas. So you know which organ is of which system? Liver, stomach, spleen, pancreas, gallbladder. So you say these are digestive organs. Colons, you say excretory organs. So we have some organs as digestive organs. The gallbladder, stomach, liver, pancreas, intestines, spleen, etc. We have excretory organs, colons. We have excretory organ, the urinary bladder, urethra. So these are all organs, kidneys. So we tag them as organs. Which organ of which system? So we have respiratory system, digestive system, reproductive system, excretory system. So we have so many systems in our body which anatomy tells us, and that's why we put a tag to them that liver is a digestive organ. We don't say liver is a respiratory organ. We don't say liver is a generative organ. We don't say liver is a excretory organ. So they are tagged. So whatever is the tag is called Kriya Rupa, and that is called Grahana Rupa technically. Grahana. So whatever is the Kriya Rupa, that is what the Indriyas generally do, then that is called the Grahana Rupa, or it is functional form. In English you might call it as functional form. So that's the first form of the Indriyas. So try to understand the functional form of all the Indriyas, Jnanendriyas, Karmendiyas, Antarendriyas, Sharirendriyas. Jnanendriyas, Karmendiyas, Manasendriyas and Sharirendriyas. And you will certainly find a tag to each organ. So that is called Grahana Rupa. The second form is called Swarupa. Swarupa is substantive form. So what senses do is functional form, Grahana, and how the senses should be is substantive form. Understand the difference between how these organs and senses should be and how the organs and senses are. So what they are is their functional form, and how they should be is substantive form. And yoga considers this substantive form and bestows a field for them, grants a field for them to be in the state profile that they should be, and not in the profile that what they should be doing. So that's why it is called Swarupa, as they are. So they should be as they are, rather than they should be as they are appointed. See, all of us are appointed for some functions, some purpose, some vocation, some profession. So that's our functional form. Don't we take other form? Don't we want to be in our essential form sometimes? Does the lawyer wants to be 24/7 lawyer? Does the chartered accountant wants to be 24/7 and into 365 lawyer? Physician, does he wants to be 24/7 into 365 as a physician? So these are all our occupations and professions, and we do take that form, but we also have to have, and we want to be in our Swarupam, our substantive form. And that is why there is a beautiful description about Grahana Rupa of Indriyas. What organs and senses do is their Grahana Rupa, and how they should be is Swarupa. And that is why in Shavasana, etc., we try to be in their substantive form. We don't want liver to be engaged in its activity of digesting the food. We don't make excretory organs to be excreting while we are in Shavasana. So we give them a condition that they will be in their substantive form. And as far as possible, not have the influence of their functional form. Imagine if you are doing Shavasana and all the organs are in their functional form, how will be your Shavasana? Like all of you want to sleep at night. Doctors want to sleep, physicians want to sleep, all the professional people, the lawyers want to sleep, the chartered accountants want to sleep, the carpenter wants to sleep, mason wants to sleep. All various occupations and professions which mankind embraces, we want at night time to be free from that. So we want to be in ourselves. So all the organs also want that. If your digestive organ is hectically working in digestion, you won't get good sleep. If your excretory organ is busy, all the time engaged in its act of excretion, you will not have good sleep. So all these various organs of various systems, digestive system, generative system, reproductive system, the circulatory system, the excretory system, respiratory system, mental system, psychomental system, we want them to sometimes be free from their occupation, and we want them to have their rest. That is what the sleep does for us to a very great extent. And that's why not only we want sleep, our things also want sleep. Not only that you want to sleep, you want yours to also have a sleep. When the yours also sleep, then you have a wonderful condition of sleep. But you are sleeping, but the yours are not sleeping, it's a disturbance to you. So that is something, similarly, something called Swarupa of the Indriyas, as to how they should be ideally. how they will have their homely condition rather than office condition. Liver in an office condition is a digestive organ. It has to carry out so many functions. So every organ of the systemic body will have some function. But sometimes we want them to be free from that and be in their own state. Like your occupation is not your own state. You want to be free from your occupation, then you have your own state. Similarly, the senses have that Swarupa. That is the second form of the Indriyas. You can look at it as primarily for Jnanendriyas, then you will understand better. Because they are most powerful set of organs, cognitive organs, and they do have a lot of influence on cognitive organs and mental organs and anatomical organs. So try to ponder over this and try to understand for each organ what is its Swarupam. And the best of that Swarupam is actualized in a yogic pursuit, such as asanas, pranayamas. If you are in asana and pranayama, those organs will be in their substantive state, their essential state. So that is the second form. The third is called Asmita Rupam. Asmita. Asmita is the Moola Rupam. What we discussed was Swarupam, and now we are coming to Moola Rupam. Moola Rupam means basic form. And basic form of all the Indriyas is Asmita. Be that Jnanendriyas, Karmendiyas, Manasendriyas, Antakaranendriyas or Sharirendriyas, Asmita is the Moola Rupam. Because according to metaphysics, from Asmita you get all these senses. In the Sankhya cosmology, Ahankara Tattvam gives birth to all aspects of embodiment. And therefore all the organs are Asmita Rupa. That's the material. Asmita is the material of all the Indriyas. Be those Jnanendriyas, Karmendiyas, Antakaranendriyas or Sharirendriyas, the material of all these organs, Indriyas, is Asmita. And this is postulated by the metaphysics of yoga. So that is their third form. It's called Moola Rupam and Karana Rupam. Then comes the fourth form. It is called Anvaya Rupam. What is the Anvaya? Concomitants. Concomitants of what? The concomitants of Sattva, Rajatama Gunas. Because Sankhya says everything material is Trigunatmakam. Gross or subtle, the material thing, prakrutik things are all natural things, are all Trigunatmaka. Sattva, Rajatama Gunas come in different constitutions and proportions. So that is called Anvaya Rupam. That is concomitants of cosmic qualities of Sattva, Raja, Tama. Trigunatmaka Rupam. If Asmita is a Moola Rupam and Karana Rupam, the Anvaya is Adya Rupam. So understand, so far we have considered Kriya Rupam, that is functional form, Swarupam, substantive form, Moola Rupam, that is Asmita, and now Adya Rupam, the primeval form, original form. Adya Rupam. Adya Rupam is Anvaya Rupam. That is Trigunatmakata or Trigunanmaya. Because these three gunas always coexist. There is always a concomitance. You will never come across something that is 100% Sattva guna or 100% Rajoguna or 100% Tamoguna. They always will be having tripartite constitution. Nothing in this world is of one guna or two guna. Everything is of three gunas in some proportion or the other. If something is sattvic, there is preponderance of sattva. If something is rajasic, there is preponderance of rajoguna. If something is tamasic, there is preponderance of tamoguna. But the three gunas will not leave each other. You can never have anything which is dvigunatmaka or ekagunatmaka. It is always trigunatmaka. So this theorem or precept or position of the Sankhya should be understood. That everything is trigunatmaka, nothing is dvigunatmaka. That is of two qualities, or nothing is ekagunatmaka of one quality. Sattva Rajatama always coexist without exception. That is why it is called Anvaya Rupam. Anvaya means concomitance. There is always a concomitance combination of Sattva Rajatama, and that is Adya Rupam. So it is interesting to note that we have seen Kriya Rupa, Swarupa, Mula Rupa or Karana Rupa and Adya Rupa, primordial form. And the last one is Arthavatvam, Prayojanam. The Antim Prayojanam, the final purpose. So all these organs and Indriyas have a final function, purpose. What is their final purpose is subject matter of metaphysics. And you should recall that we had discussed this aspect while we were dealing with metaphysics of yoga in the mid part of the sadhana pada, where the Drushya category was analyzed, and we discussed cosmology, teleology, ontology. And therein the teleology was considered. In brief, for you to have the reminder of it, it is Bhoga Arthata Apavargarthata. Bhoga Arthata Apavargarthata. This is the purpose of all gunas and their manifestations in any phase. Either the purpose is of Bhoga or Apavarga. So all the organs have these two purposes. Now we commoners, we only have one purpose for all the Indriyas and organs. Bhogarthata, Bhogarthata. Only when you are in spiritual practices, Adhyatma, Paramartha, Yoga, then we identify the other purpose. Other purpose is to structure up process of emancipation, structure up the process of kaivalyam, liberation, moksha, nirvana. So that is the fifth form of all the Indriyas. That's called Prayojana Rupam. So I want you to recapitulate here the five forms. Technically they are Grahana, Swarupa, Asmita, Anvaya, Arthavatva. But for you to understand, they are Kriya Rupam, Swarupam, Mula Rupam, Adya Rupam and Prayojana Rupam. So that's why these are five rupas, five forms. So Patanjali is opening out the inquiry of the five forms of the Indriyas, all the organs, cognitive organs, mental organs and anatomical organs. All the organs have five forms. And yoga opens out the field for those forms which otherwise don't have scope in our hecticality of mundanity and worldliness, our business activity of life. We really deprive them of all their forms to be going in, to be taking recourse to, and we keep them busy in their functional form. So that's how the concept of 5 forms are mentioned. So it is important for Pratyahara dynamics, Pratyahara process, to consider these 5 forms. So these organs perform different kinds of functions in every Rupa. We have seen the 5 Rupas: Kriya Rupa, Swarupa, Mula Rupa, Adya Rupa, Prayojana Rupa. So in every such manifestation, Rupam, they will function differently. As the liver functions in Kriya Rupa is not the manifestation of its function in Swarupam, Mula Rupam or Karana Rupam or Adya Rupam or final Rupam, Prayojana Rupam. So they play 5 different roles, and yoga allows them to be in those roles which mundanity refuses. So I want you to understand here, like a person, one person. One person is related to several other persons differently, and everywhere the person manifests differently. Like a man can be husband, son, brother, uncle, father-in-law, son-in-law, friend, colleague, boss, servant, superior, inferior, seniority in hierarchy, juniority in hierarchy. So everywhere the manifestation of the same person changes. So one person is somewhere father, somewhere son, somewhere son-in-law, somewhere brother, somewhere uncle, somewhere nephew. So somewhere boss and somewhere subservient. So somewhere Varishtha, somewhere Kanishtha. That is, Varishtha is superior and Kanishtha is inferior, like senior person, seniority hierarchy, juniority hierarchy. So the person will be having someone as senior and he will be senior to someone. He will be junior to someone and he will be having juniors under him. And everywhere the manifestation changes. The same thing can be understood with reference to a woman. The woman can be daughter, mother, sister, daughter-in-law, mother-in-law, and so many relationships. Can be friend, can be boss, can be a servant, can be a colleague. So everywhere that woman would manifest differently. So when the upadhi changes, avishkar changes. Similarly, it is about the senses. Understand? Say for instance, eyes. Let's take example of visual organ, eyes. Eyes see, eyes hear, eyes speak, Eyes question, eyes interrogate, eyes worry, eyes deceive, eyes radiate or give belief and faith, eyes give love, radiate love, eyes are in love, eyes are in aversion, eyes are in detest, eyes are in dislike. Isn't that only eyes are seeing? So try to understand your eyes. They can do so many functions. They can talk, they can speak, they can gesticulate, they can articulate. And then you understand with respect to actor, very versatile actor, proficient actor, how much the eyes can do. So, eyes are labeled as visual organs, but eyes do speak. Eyes do worry. They are organs of worry. They are organs of so many things. Eyes are also memory organs. If you don't remember something, why do you clench your eyes, contract your eyes, and then you remember? So the eyes do so many roles. So look at the eyes as an actor, versatile actor, and try to figure out what roles do the eyes play, how many roles eyes play. Even in Kriya Rupa, they have so many functions, so many forms, even in the functional role. Eyes are not only visual organs, they do so many things. So the eyes are wonderful actors. They have so many expressions. That means they have so many functions. So all these organs play different roles, and the role also depends upon association, affiliation, contact, and what is called as Sangha. So when the Sangha changes for senses, our organs, they work differently. There can be radical change in their functions with Sangha. And now you should be aware of Satsanga, Paramartha Sangha, Sattva Sangha, Daivi Sangha. Then you will see how the senses and how the organs and how the Indriyas differently work. And therefore it is said that in Yoga Sangha, Pratyahara manifests in an exalted way. But the point is, there are so many Kriya Rupa. The Indriyas, the cognitive organs, are Sukhendriyas, Dukhendriyas, Jnanendriyas, Prajnayendriyas, Tatasthendriyas, Madhyasthendriyas, Sakshendriyas, Divya Darshanendriyas, Sakshatkarendriyas. Vision, envisionment, revelation, Sakshatkar. It's all a kind of vision. So beyond empirical visions, have so many visions. When you say a man of vision, you refer to his intelligence. But then why do you say a man of vision? Does he have special ophthalmic eyes? Eyes are same. Maybe not even good sight. There might be defect in his eyes. Maybe with spectacles. But then even then you say man of deep insight. What is this insight? So Indriyas, apart from their Swarupam, have so many forms to play. They become, as I just now told you, Sukhendriya, Dukhendriya, Bhogendriya, Jnanendriya, Pratyahara, Tatasthendriya, Madhyasthendriya, Sakshi Indriya, Divya Darshanendriya, Sakshatkarendriya. So these are all its functional forms. See how many functional forms are there. But they have Swarupam. And Swarupam is best established in something that you call as Shavasana. The Indriyas go closer to their Swarupavasthiti. So that is the second form, Swarupa. So the point is, we can really ponder over and try to understand various forms of the senses. So in yoga, in profound asana, yogasana of a proficient yogi, the senses and organs will go into Swarupam. They will be in their Swarupam. So all the organs have their Swarupam. And yoga, particularly Shavasana, which stands out amongst all other asanas to bestow Swarupam to all the Indriyas. Beyond the Swarupam, there is another form which is Asmita Rupam. So let us try to peep into the Asmita Rupam to a greater extent than we so far did. But that we will do in our next session. Enough for the time being. Namaskar all of you.